Of course, rates are at the lowest they've been in the last 3 years. We do a lot of refinancing. If you're building a home, we can handle the entire process from breaking ground to the final close.
Do you sleep with your phone?
Wes, if you want to reach me, you can call me at my office phone, which is 256-562-1000. But always remember, I sleep with my cell phone at night. That number is 256-656-5936.
Guys, when we were 20, we never had to worry about spontaneity. And now that we've gotten older, spontaneity has been replaced with pills and injections. We're just trying to keep that intimacy, but it's taken away from spontaneity. At Advanced Life Clinic, we now offer GainsWave, which uses sound waves to non-invasively treat this issue with no need for pills or injections. Just give us a call, 256-888-9367, or check us out online, advancedlifeclinic.com.
Bob Baumhauer and 97.7 ESPN The Zone have teamed up to bring you a huge opportunity this fall. Each week, come on down to Baumhauer's during the drive on Thursdays between 5 and 7 and register to win a Lunch Bunch gift certificate for 6 to Baumhauer's. But wait, there's more. Each weekly winner will then be placed into a drawing for Bob's tickets to the LSU-Alabama game in Tuscaloosa, complete with an invitation to Bob's exclusive pregame party at Baumhauer's tent on the quad. Stay tuned to 97.7 ESPN The Zone for other opportunities to sign up and win Bob's tickets.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, the Buccaneers are hosting veteran cornerback Richard Sherman for a visit and workout this week. He's been in discussions with Tampa for several weeks. Sherman believes he needs a week or two from the time he signs with his next team until he's ready to play, according to ESPN's Ed Werder. NBA, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reporting Pacers guard Karis LeVert has a stress fracture in his back. There's optimism it might be a minor setback, and he could return sometime around the start of the season. Dodgers and Padres face off in the baseball postseason impact game on ESPN TV tonight at 10 Eastern. Walker Buehler, Yu Darvish on the hill. LA's 2 games back of NL West leading San Francisco. Dodgers have a 13-game lead for the top NL wildcard spot. Connecticut forward Jonquel Jones named WNBA MVP. Connecticut hosts Chicago Game 1. WNBA semis tonight, 8 Eastern, ESPN 2.
From the ESPN studios at Pier 17 in the...
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Plenty of sunshine this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-80s, dropping into the low and mid-60s as we head into the overnight. Slightly better opportunities for rain as we head into the middle part of the work week. Still dealing with a mostly sunny sky. Most of us at the end of the day probably going to stay dry. Temperatures once again climbing into the lower 80s, dropping into the mid and upper 60s as we head into the overnight. A little more cloud cover for your Thursday with even still slightly better opportunities for a little bit of rain. Highs hanging out in the mid-80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Football season is here.
Got a touchdown on a slant play. Rayleigh Cooper a catch. Oh my!
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You want coffee? Anybody want coffee?
Can you get me off the hook? Roll type say.
The Italian's tired.
He ain't good looking, but he sure ain't shy. He's a northern bred, southern fed, slick talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs, the SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Tom Abraham.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Testosterone high today.
Yeah, Tom's a man, he's got the plan, he's really got it made. What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot, check out the Junkyard Babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. Cause nobody does it like Tom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Tom Abraham. I have to react to the question that Mike Greenberg just put out there because it's a very poignant question for somebody that is a lifelong Cleveland Browns fan. He is grousing over the fact that he is a Jets fan, a lifelong Jets fan, and does he want to subject his children to that? What does he say to his 11-year-old child? Can I be a fan of a different team? As a father of 4 boys and 5 daughters that kind of care about sports, not so much, but of 4 sons, I can tell you this. It was never an issue. My oldest son was 7 years old when Cleveland moved to Baltimore. We were supposed to go and take him to his very first Browns game that season, and we didn't because friends in Cleveland were telling me how dangerous it would be to come to the stadium for the final game of the season. They were going to be ripping the stadium seats out and everything else. So we didn't take him. The next year, the Carolina Panthers were born. And for 3 years, between the time he was 7 and 10, he was a Panther fan because there was no other team for him. But when the Browns came back in 99 and he was 10 years old, there was no doubt. And all of my sons that followed after him, my sons that are now 24 and 21 or 23 and 21, whatever they are, die hard, no questions asked, Browns fans their entire lives. Had one playoff appearance in 2002. Some of them were 2 or 3 years old then. Don't even remember. And now all sit in my family room in Browns jerseys, hats, jackets, T-shirts, hoodies, whatever, every Sunday and watch the Browns. I mean, hardcore Browns fans. As hardcore as I ever was. They don't know the history that I know. But hardcore, you just don't. In LeBron James to go on that Eli and Peyton thing last night on ESPN2 during the Cowboys game, and for him to ask him who his favorite team is, and he says, I got to go with the hometown Browns because he's from Akron. And then he says, I grew up a Cowboys fan, but now I'm for the Browns. Why? Because they're good now? This is LeBron James' whole career. I played for the Cleveland Cavaliers, but I left and went to Miami because I thought I could win there. I grew up a Cowboys fan when the Cowboys were, great, and now that the Browns are good, now he's a Browns fan. Get the hell out of here. We don't want you. You don't grow up a Cowboys fan and become a fan of anybody else. You don't grow up a Brown. I tried to quit this team. I tried. They went away for 3 years. I was 35 years old. And they went away. That franchise went away for 3 years. It came back a grease fire. I tried so hard. I'm going to be a Packers fan, a Raiders fan, a Titans fan. And I like all of those teams. But you can't change. You can't change. I was born into a Yankees family. I was a Browns fan, a New York Knicks fan, and a Boston Bruins fan. And it can't change. And you know what? All of my kids are fans of those teams. All of my sons are fans of those teams. The only problem I ever had was with my youngest daughter, who was dating a guy who was going to Tennessee at one time. Thank God now she's engaged and she's marrying a good guy. But she was dating a guy that was going to Tennessee at the time, and she would go there every weekend and go to the Tennessee Vols games. And all of a sudden, this Bama girl, they grew up pulling for Bama her whole life, all of a sudden she was wearing like checkerboard skirts and stuff, orange and white. And she would send me, I'd be up in the press box, and she'd be sending me texts from wherever she was sitting, and she'd be wearing Tennessee gear because her boyfriend went to Tennessee. Thank God that relationship only lasted 2 years. You can't change. You can't just change. You can want to change. Because, I was born a Browns fan, but now I pull for X. No. You're stuck. You're stuck. And you know what? You know why it's so glorious for my sons the last couple of years? Because they went through the pain and agony of the 20 years of Browns futility. Their entire lives. They dealt with this grease fire, this dumpster fire, this 1 in 31 My oldest son wore a Baker Mayfield jersey to the game this last week, to the house for the game this last week, and it was the old uniform. And we all jumped him. It was an orange jersey with the uniform that they had, the 1 in 31 uniform, we call it. And we jumped him. Get that piece of crap out of here. Are you kidding me with that jersey? That jersey means 1 in 31. That's what that jersey means. That was the 1 in 31 gear. Get out of here with that. We shamed them, man. We was trying to sell it by the end of the game. You can't change it. You can't. And you can't, and you lead your children into it, especially with like Browns and Yankees, they're legacy type teams. It's like being a Cubs fan. You think Cubs fans want to be Cubs fans before they broke the 100-year curse? You think that Red Sox fans wanted to be Red Sox fans 89 years without winning? No, they didn't want it. They were born into it. You think Grizz really wants to be a Falcons fan? At least they've been in a couple Super Bowls. I mean, you can't just change. LeBron James. I was raised I grew up a Cowboys fan, but now I'm a Browns fan. We don't want you, LeBron. We don't want you. I thought, why you're not a Rams fan? They have the same colors as your beloved Lakers. You front runner, you. Get the hell out of here. I mean, it's the same thing he did in his career, jumping around. My camera's about to fall down. All right. Anyway, to the show. Phone lines are open. Feel free to jump in. 256-576-4977. Did I say it right? Sean? 256-576-4977. You can also text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. Very solid way to communicate with me. My personal Twitter feed is at Tom Abraham Show. I got to pace myself. I mean, I've just brought a lot of energy to that opening segment. I got to pace myself. I got to do my show, and then I got to do Moulton and show tonight. I'm filling in for Moulton with West Neighbors at the Furniture Factory, 5 to 7. I expect you to come down and see me. I don't get out on the road as much as I used to, so I expect you to come on out and hang with us tonight. Guest hosting on that thing. So come out and hang. I got to pace myself. What, I say pace myself. What's 4 hours? It's 2 hours now and 2 hours then. I used to do 4-hour show every day for 20 years. For 5-6 years, I did 7 hours a day. I did 4 hours in one market and 3 hours in another market. The heck is this is falling off a rock. Probably going to play back half of the stuff from this show anyway. Grizz, make sure you got the 16-inch reel-to-reel tape going. Going to need a couple of the interviews probably. Probably going to re-rack those tonight during the drive. We'll see. Anyway, the station's Twitter is at 97.7 ESPN. And on Twitch and Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show as well. Right there. You can wave to us. See, we're waving. We're watching the show. Watch the show. Grizz and I wearing matching black shirts today with no hat. So he got the memo. We're in team colors. Our YouTube channel is 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Like and subscribe there. Go to 977ESPN.com for links to all of that stuff. Get the app as well, where you'll find links to Zone 2, Zone 3, our alternate streaming channel for more great programming. Like on a Saturday, sometimes we have Army football on Zone 2, and we got Alabama football on our primary stream, as well as on the air. Madison Academy has a huge region game at home against 6-0 Randolph Friday night after Randolph hammered Westbrook Christian 35-0 in Rainbow City. We had that one for you as well. Steve Moulton and Glenn Laird will be on air for the Madison Academy Randolph game on air and on our primary stream on Friday. But before that, Thursday night, Huntsville High hosts Albertville. Great chance for this Huntsville High team that has been heartbroken the last couple of weeks to get a win. They should be able to beat this Albertville team that also comes in 1-4. Austin Coletti and Drew DeArmond are on the call for that game. That one on Thursday night will be on air after the Nick Saban show. So it'll start on Zone 2. See, you got to have the Zone 2. Start on Zone 2 Then at about 8 o'clock, it'll jump over. It'll still be on Zone 2, but it'll be on our primary stream and on the air as well. Coming up in a few minutes, David Moulton of the SEC on CBS. And the NFL on Fox will join us. He had a pretty busy week last week. I believe. Let me see if he's texted me back yet. He is not. You knucklehead. My daughter's texting me about her wedding. No, they do not. Okay. I got 2 weddings next summer. One in the beginning of the summer and one at the end of the summer. My son's getting married and my daughter's getting married, and they're trying to coordinate. Thank God my daughter has come off of her plan. Her original plan was to get married in Montana. Really? Montana? How hard is this going to be? Get the whole family to Montana. But it came off of that idea. And now they want to get married in Knoxville, which is 1,000% better. His family's in Illinois. Our family's in Tennessee, Alabama, and Florida. Knoxville. Good answer. Well, she straightened up on that. Moulton last Thursday was in Houston for the NFL game between the Texans and the Panthers. And Saturday he was in Dallas for Arkansas and A&M on CBS. And then Sunday he was in L.A. for the Bucs and the Rams. This week he'll be in Jacksonville on Thursday night for Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, who will get the 3-1 probably, beating the Jags and Trevor Lawrence. Then he'll be in Tuscaloosa on Saturday for the Tide and Ole Miss. I'm not even sure what he's got on Sunday. At the top of the 11, John Fourcade is back from New Orleans, where he covers LSU and the Saints. And remember, John started at quarterback for Ole Miss back in the 80s. So I'm not sure, well, I am sure that he'll have a take on that game as well. So we'll be able to do LSU, Auburn, Ole Miss, Alabama, and maybe get a Saints take from John Fourcade. And this has to be the stat of the day. Now, I'm going to hold the stat of the day. I want to hold it for a minute because I don't want to be late getting a Moulton. Because Moulton and I always go along. I don't want to be late getting a Moulton. So let me introduce that guy over there in the little black booth, playing the platters that matter and the stacks of wax and answering the phones and just jamming like crazy. Gripping a little bit. I'll be honest with you. I don't think you could drive a pin up his ass with a sledgehammer right now. Gripping a little bit for tonight when the Braves begin a 3-game series with the Phils with the NL East Division on the line. It's Coach Chris.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. That Tom? Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the f*** it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Delicious. Now, Grumpy says, regarding my son wearing the old 1-31 Browns jersey, he says any grown man wearing a jersey should be shamed. Now,
and now it's time for today's Dog Law. Words for every red-blooded American to live by. As presented by the Big Dog.
I will say, Grizz, this is a dog law, but there's an amendment to it. You know, the worst is hockey jersey. Dude walking around in hockey jersey looks stupid. Okay? But there is an amendment to this.
Going to a bar, going out.
Now, there's an amendment to it. Here's the amendment.
To the game.
If your gut is bigger than your shoulders, you should not wear a jersey. Okay? If you can wear a jersey, if your shoulders.
I feel like that's a jab at me.
No.
My gut has slowly gone a little bit out from my shoulders a little bit.
Yeah, well, no, this is a
and
jab
you tack
at
on
me
mass, you know.
And Drew and Moulton. If your gut is bigger than your shoulder, in other words, if you put a jersey on and the shoulders, like the jersey shoulders are a little bit bigger because of shoulder pads, and they're a little bit bigger. But if you're stretching the waist part of it, like where the
stretching
mesh,
the Nike Flex.
Yeah, like where you got like the mesh and you could fit a dime through the mesh because your stomach is so fat and it's stretching the jersey. If your stomach like if it's a baseball jersey and it's a button-down baseball jersey and you could stick your fist in between the buttonholes, between the top and then you should not wear a jersey. The only guys that should wear jerseys are guys that have waists and that are smaller than their shoulders.
Well,
so they look athletic.
Basketball jerseys, I hate when people regular fans wear them without shirts underneath. And that when they go to the game and wear it like that. Yeah. Well, I think it looks at least a little bit better.
No, see, if you got guns.
Yeah.
No, like my son, three of my sons could wear a basketball jersey because they got hairless arms and they're yoked. You know what I mean? They got guns. And they would look in a basketball jersey.
Yeah.
They would get, in fact, they all cut the sleeves off their T-shirts.
Okay. I don't like when people wear NFL jerseys with a sweatshirt underneath. Like, I just think it's...
What if it's cold?
I'm a Falcons fan. I'm indoors. I've seen people wear the sweatshirt underneath, and I'm just like, you're going to get hot. Like,
but they're doing it so that their man boobs don't show through the jersey. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes if it's a mesh jersey and it's too tight on you, sometimes what will happen is your nipples will come through the mesh.
By the way,
through the little holes in the mesh, and it'll rub your nipples raw. So what you have to do is you got to put like a heavy shirt on underneath it to make it look so you don't look so fat.
Well, as a Falcons fan...
No, it's the sweatshirt. It's not me.
As a Falcons fan, I can't say that happens to me a little bit because of my gut. But, I mean, this is a Falcons team that is 6 years, less than in the league than the Jets are. And they probably have about the same amount as division titles. The Falcons have never won the Super Bowl. And then
it's got one.
And then the Panthers, if you look at the Panthers, they're a franchise that has only been in the league for 27 years, and they have more division titles and have won the conference the same amount of times as the Falcons have. So I don't want to hear it when
the Buccaneers have won two Super Bowls.
Saints have one.
They've been
Buccaneers
in the league 10
have
years
two.
less than the Falcons.
I mean, yeah, and it sucks. I mean, I told my brother one day, I was like, I'm sorry I made you a Falcons fan, man. And he's like, no, you didn't. He's like, I'm going to take it. He's like, I'm going to be a fan.
Tuesday top 10. I got lists all over the place. All right, Tuesday top 10. Can we name the teams that have never won the Super Bowl? All right, Cleveland Browns, Detroit Lions, Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers,
Vikings,
the Minnesota Vikings. A good call there. Are you cheating?
No.
Minnesota, Jacksonville Jaguars.
I don't have it up. I'm not even typing.
Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
/ Houston Oilers.
And then the Texans, if you didn't say that.
And the Houston Texans. So 7 teams. So 7 teams that have never won the Super Bowl. Now, of those 7 teams. 10, 9, 8, 7. That's not our list. Of those 7 teams, the Browns are the most accomplished. Because the Browns have 7 championships. And the Browns would have been. Browns lost the conference championship game 5 times. The Browns have been to 5 conference championship games in the Super Bowl era. They lost the conference championship game 5 times. So they would have been to 5 Super Bowls. And the Browns would have been, like in 64, of those teams, they're the most recent to win the championship. They won in 64. And none of the rest have any championships. Well, Detroit has some championships.
Also, Kramer's Bills have never won the Super
Bowl. The Buffalo Bills.
The Cardinals have never won the Super Bowl.
The Cardinals, 9. We're up to 9 teams have never won the Super Bowl.
Who else? I'm trying to think.
The Bills won an AFL championship twice.
Oh,
Houston Oilers won an AFL championship.
Did we ever say the Bengals?
The Bungles have never won the thing. That's 10.
And then I think. I know the Rams have, but I don't think the Chargers ever have.
Yeah, the Rams have. The St. Louis Rams.
Yeah, but I don't think the Chargers
The Chargers have not. They've only been to 1. So that's 11.
So who did we forget?
Nobody. Now that you got the Chargers in there. Why are we forgetting somebody?
And we said the Panthers, right?
Panthers?
Yeah.
Who is closest to being the next team to win the Super Bowl? That has never won a Super Bowl.
That's never won?
There's two teams that have a shot, I think.
The Chargers, for sure.
And
the Browns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Chargers and the
Sad
Browns.
to say that, but yeah, the Browns.
I think the Chargers and the Browns are the closest.
Like the Vikings are so up and down. I would say the Vikings, but I mean
they're not this year though. I'm saying the team that's closest.
They beat the Seahawks.
Yeah,
but that was at home.
I think the team. Well, you know what's interesting?
Yeah,
we're going to get a little litmus test here. The Vikings are a 1-point favorite over Cleveland in Minnesota this week. That's surprising to me. The Browns were a 2-point favorite. Now the Vikings are a 1-point favorite. That's a little bit surprising to me. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, another guy that should not wear a jersey, David Moulton, is next on 97.7 ESPN. The Zone.
You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Protecting your family is a priority. Smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are two of the best life-saving investments for the safety of your home and your family. But they do actually expire. The expert electricians at Mr. Sparky will test and advise or install the best unit for your home. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-Sparky.
Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code BOOST for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code BOOST for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BOOST.
In today's real estate market, you need the right professionals to help make sure your home purchase is smooth and hassle-free. That's where Jacob Title comes in. Stan McDonald and the staff at Jacob Title cater to the realtor and clients who are looking for a top-flight closing experience. Jacob Title uses the latest and best technologies to ensure a safe and secure exchange of funds, and they pride themselves on great communication well before and during the real estate closing process. Jacob Title in Huntsville and Madison, and online at jacobtitle.com.
In 2 years, you can have a career that makes sense for you. Skill up and earn a living working with your hands, or work on the front line of computer information systems and cybersecurity. Get a degree that lets your healing heart take care of people. Help design and manufacture the most advanced cars, machinery, or even aerospace components. In just 2 years, great careers are within your reach at Drake State Community and Technical College. Visit drakestate.edu to apply.
Angie's List is now Angie, and getting your to-do list done just got easier. Between back to school and with the holidays around the corner, it can feel like there's no time to tackle home projects. Whether you need help with emergency repairs or major upgrades, Angie matches you with top local pros who can get the job done right. Browse reviews, see upfront pricing, and instantly book hundreds of projects. Save time for what matters most. Book your next project at Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Tom Luganbill here for Woody Anderson Ford. When I was in the Tennessee Valley, one of the things that impressed me the most was the quality of the people. People like Bobby White and his team at Woody Anderson Ford. And now you can experience the tremendous new service lanes and showroom at Woody Anderson Ford at Jordan and Sparkman, or just stop by for breakfast or lunch at Henry's Mustang Cafe. And in Madison, visit Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, just south of 72. Like a great college football tradition, always there, Woody Anderson Ford.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now more of the Tom Abraham Show on your home for Crimson Tide Sports 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
Now, the Chubby Ninja hit the text window. He said, I'm with your son. No self-respecting grown man wears another man's name on his back, period. So he says no jerseys at all. You don't wear a Baker Mayfield jersey? You don't wear a Nick Chubb jersey? You don't wear a Manning jersey? You don't wear a jersey with another man's name on the back? I'm kind of the opinion that maybe just sweatshirt, hoodie, hat, T-shirt, maybe no jersey at all.
If I'm going to spend my own money on a jersey, I'm sorry, I'm going to wear the jersey.
Of the player.
Yeah, of the player that I am.
With the player's name on the back.
I still have Julio. I still have a Julio. I still have a Ridley.
Yeah, but if you're built like me or David Moulton, you don't wear a jersey.
I'll wear the Devontae Freeman if I have to.
Cannot wear a jersey. If your gut's bigger than your shoulders, you are not allowed to wear a jersey. Especially a hockey jersey. God, it looks terrible. David Moulton joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. He is brought to us by North Alabama Mortgage. At North Alabama Mortgage, they're doing all kinds of mortgages. They're doing refis. They're doing new purchases. Maybe you want to buy a bunch of jerseys and you need to, remortgage your house to do that. Then, no, that's not a good reason to refinance your house. But if you're doing a job around the house or an upgrade or whatever, they can handle all types of mortgages for you at North Alabama Mortgage. Go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. David, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good, Tom. When you're built like us, you don't wear jerseys, you wear tarps.
You wear the tent, the medical tent that they got on the sideline. You wear that thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
A rain slicker is about the smallest thing that I think we should ever wear.
I've always had this dog law out there that is that a guy ought not to wear a jersey, any kind of jersey, unless his waist is smaller than his shoulders. Like if you're built like some of my sons are yoked, and they could wear a baseball jersey or a football jersey or something like that, and they look good in a jersey. But once your stomach is bigger than your shoulders, it's the worst look going. Like when your stomach is stretching out the mesh, you know what I mean, in the jersey where you could stick a dime through the holes in the mesh. That's not good. That's a bad look.
Right. My radio co-host is in the car with me right now. We're going to a meeting hoping to bring the show back to life.
Nice.
But we had a rule. One, women could wear any jersey, anytime, anywhere. Number one. Kids could wear a jersey anytime, anywhere, too. Men, once you turn 25, cannot wear a jersey.
No matter how you're built?
Does not matter.
Doesn't matter how you...
25 years old. Grow up.
Now, see, a woman in a hockey jersey with like a turtleneck on, that's fine. But I got to amend that rule. I like your rule, but I'm going to amend that slightly. Fat chick ought not wear a hockey jersey. I'm just to the Predators game, okay? It looks bad, David, when fat chick wears a hockey jersey. Just going to say that.
Well, listen, you need to cover the beef. I mean, it's just the options are limited.
Pretty busy week for you last week in Houston for the Thursday night game, then up to Dallas. I assume you just stayed over there, right? I mean, you didn't come back, right? Did you stay out there for Friday and into Saturday?
Drove to Dallas Friday.
Drove to Dallas.
Yep. I had Arkansas winning, so I saw that one coming.
I had Arkansas outright winning as well, so that was good. In fact, I had Notre Dame beating Wisconsin outright too. And then a bunch of covers. I was 7-0 last week, so that's a whole other story against the spread. Yeah, and added the Cowboys on last night, minus the 3.5 for Grizz. He texted me, and he said, what do you think about tonight? I was like, take the Cowboys, they'll breeze. But, yeah, so I'm on a little roll. I'm 18-6 on my picks on the air right now. 18 against the spread. So
stop.
Yeah. That's right. Stop is right, because you know the correction's coming. You just need to stop is right. So you're in Jacksonville for Joe Burrow versus Trevor Lawrence? Is that right?
It's in Cincinnati.
Oh, it's in Cincinnati. Oh, hell, then
yes.
Cincinnati's going to win. They're going to get to 3-1. And then from there, of course, to Tuscaloosa. Do you have a game Sunday?
No, not this week.
Oh, so you're off Sunday. Okay, so that's good for you. Before we talk about Saturday, I want to talk about last Saturday. That Arkansas team, I'll tell you what, one I jumped on already this week, and I'm just shaking my head at. after watching Arkansas, and I've watched them beat the hell out of Texas and beat the snot out of A&M, I can't for the life of me figure out how they're getting 19.5 points in Athens. I know it's Georgia, but I don't know how that's not a slobber knocker, and I don't know how Georgia can score that frequently against that defense. I love defensive football. I love the way that team runs to the ball. And Arkansas is a problem. I mean, right now they're a problem. It's really something. Give me your take on what you saw in that game.
Well, A&M couldn't block them. And once that happens, basically the game's over. Arkansas has weapons offensively. They have a ton of speed. I wonder, Tom, if the line is what it is, if Vegas thinks that Williams, the starting quarterback, is not going to play. Then I think that changes everything.
Didn't he come back in? He came back in.
But he came back in, Tom, to hand the ball off. Came back in, okay, to take care of the football because the other kid kind of handled it like a loaf of bread. So, and the snaps were getting away, and so he brought him in basically to just catch the snap and hand it off. He ad-libbed one play in which he ran, but they did not call a designed run for him. And so I'm wondering if that's the reason for the 19. I will say I don't think many people are going to score a lot of points against Georgia also. Like, I don't know if Arkansas, they only scored 20 against A&M, and they had 12 what we would consider big plays, and they still only scored 20 points in that game. They're not going to get 12, quote-unquote, big plays against Georgia. I think they'll be hard-pressed to get above 16, 17, to be honest.
But does Georgia can Georgia score 30 against Arkansas in that defense? That's what I'm concerned about, because that's why I say the points are, you got to score 30. If you're going to beat them, you got to score 35 points with 19.5.
I agree, and that's why this is kind of the game within the game. I think we all think Georgia's going to win. But now, can this offense put up 30 against a team that's not giving up more than like 14, 17 really to anybody? Yeah. They play a pretty simple defense, Tom. They play basically a 3-5-3 against A&M. And that's really what they played, a 3-5-3. It was like two umbrellas. And A&M's tackles couldn't block Arkansas's ends. Well, I'm guessing they're going to have to bring more than 3 to get to Daniels. And so will that then change Arkansas defensively? This might be the first game Arkansas plays that they don't win up front.
And they've got a brutal schedule. They got the most difficult schedule in the country. They're going to be at Georgia this week. Then they go straight to Ole Miss, which could be a real problem as well. Auburn at home. I think they're okay there. LSU on the road down the way, and of course Alabama on the road as well. So they've got a really brutal schedule. I mean, they could end up 8-4 and be like the best 8-4 team ever.
Yes, and Sam Pittman could be Coach of the Year in the SEC going 8-4.
Right,
and deservedly so.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Now listen, I know you carry a lot of juice at CBS.
Yes, right.
Can you do me a favor? Can you have them open up that look? They got when they have a noon game, you can't go noon and 3:30 Eastern. You got to go. You can't go 11 and 2:30. You're killing us with that because we get very anxious about the big game, the 2:30 game, when the noon game has like 4 minutes to go and it's 2:34. You know what I mean? They got to open that window up. Every college game is 3.5 hours. You need to let it breathe a little bit in between games. When you guys are in Dallas and that other game is going, are they literally holding the game up a little bit? Because I know a 2:30 game starts at 2:40. Maybe 2:38 normally. Did they actually hold the kickoff because there was a game going on at CBS?
They did last week. They pushed the kickoff back to 2:45.
Yeah.
And then the last half of the fourth quarter of our early game went really fast. And it turns out they didn't have to use those 7 minutes that they had already agreed to push it back. But listen, Tom, me and my co-host are the only two people, and Chris Fowler, that think college football games are too long.
No, it can't be too long.
For 5 years. I mean, It's ridiculous they can't get a game done in 3.5 hours.
Listen,
sorry, it's ridiculous.
It's only 12 weeks. I'm jonesing over the fact that we're past the third pole already here in college football. I want everything to stop for a minute. I don't care if these games are 6 hours long. I can't get enough of them. I can't get
Tom,
enough.
you're in the majority.
Yeah.
And like I said, there are 3 people in this country, and 2 of them don't matter.
Yeah. Well, I think I don't have a big problem with that. Now, and then jumping ahead, we should just remind people, jumping ahead a week, you guys will have the Texas A&M Alabama game at night. So that'll be a 7 o'clock Central Time kickoff. And so there won't be any problem. There is an earlier game, which is to be determined, right? That could still be, we're not sure yet. That'll be determined based on the results of this week. Is that correct?
Right. If there are no upsets this week, it will likely be Georgia-Auburn. If there's an upset or 2, if the road teams win this week, Ole Miss and Arkansas, then that would be the early game.
Yeah. All right, so your early breakdown, your information gathering, and so on, Alabama, Ole Miss. Now, last year, everybody points, Alabama won by 15 in Oxford, but that game is a 4-point game with like 7 minutes to go in the game. That's a very deceiving score. Alabama is still, getting their groove on with this new offense, and it seems like Ole Miss is better defensively, and they brought everybody back on their offense. Again, 14.5 points. I don't know how the hell this is 14.5 points. How is this not a relatively close game here? To describe a blowout for Alabama or a upset for Ole Miss.
Well, if last year's game was a 4 to 7 point game, then you could see where now, since it switches from Oxford to Tuscaloosa, maybe this now becomes a 10-point game. So I don't think 14's out of line at all. That's number one. Number two, I think Alabama's really going to benefit from having played Florida and the offense that Dan ran against them. I think it's really is going to help Alabama defensively against Ole Miss. Now, I still think Corral and company, they're going to score 24, 27 points. But I do think that it's not going to look like last year's defense did, which, quite frankly, there was no defense in that game. None. I think there will be some defense in this year's game, and that's why it'll be different.
The over and under on this game is 80. I've never even seen. I guess it's down to 77.5. I've never ever seen a number like that outside of a Big 12 game. But then the over and under opened at 80. It's down to 77.5. That'd be absolutely amazing. You got the 2 front runners for the Heisman apparently playing in this game. Is the loser eliminated? Is it something like if Alabama does beat them and Matt Corral has a ho-hum game, is he out of it, and vice versa for Bryce Young?
Well, Bryce Young is obviously going to have many more chances than Matt Corral. Alabama's going to get the big stage more often, and they're likely going to have a better record. And so you figure Matt Corral's got to have a big day, win or lose, in this game. I still think somebody can lose to Alabama and win the Heisman. They just have to have a really big game. But think back the last handful of years. The Heisman's been decided really late.
Right.
Remember, a few years ago, going to the SEC title game, the Heisman was all wrapped up for Tua. He plays badly, and Kyler Murray wins in a rout. So, Johnny Manziel was not winning the Heisman until he took the field in Tuscaloosa the second weekend of November, and then everything changed. So I think to talk about the Heisman before November is kind of like talking about preseason polls.
David Moulton with us here talking some college and now NFL football as well. So you were in L.A. for that big matchup between the Bucs and the Rams. It's a very early season matchup, obviously 3 games into the season, but the consensus seems to be the Rams are now the team to beat in the NFC. In that building, is that and by the way, it would be that building in LA is also hosting the Super Bowl, and of course for the first time last year we had a team actually played a Super Bowl in their home stadium, so that possibility is there again. What was that building like? I know for a Chargers game, and when the Chargers and the Raiders play there on Monday night, it's going to be 60-40 Raider fans, I believe. But how are the Rams fans there? What's that building like as a home field advantage if the NFC Championship game is back out there?
Well, Troy Aikman who grew up in Southern California and played his college ball there and grew up a Rams fan, he took a look around and said, I think this will be the first time that the Rams will actually have a home field advantage during their entire time in Los Angeles.
Wow.
I mean, it felt like the Rams had a home field advantage. And I've done a few Rams games when they were in the Coliseum before SoFi, and the road team had more fans. So it felt, now, a Chargers game? I don't know if anybody cares about the Chargers.
Right. Except for in San Diego, where they ought to be, but it'll be a big Raider crowd there. All right, so the Bucs, they dropped this one here. They weren't going to go 17-0, but are the Rams decidedly better with Matthew Stafford now quarterback? Are they a better team than the Bucs coming out of that game, or is that just a one-off?
They're healthier right now. The concern for Tampa, I mean, they'll eventually get their secondary back healthy, but their front four is not doing anything. And it really isn't. And that would be, to me, the biggest concern. I mean, the reason Tampa won the Super Bowl last year was their front four took over the NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl. And that front four, if all of a sudden that line got old overnight, and Sue's in his 30s, JPP didn't play, and he's in his 30s, and he missed a game for the first time in a while. I mean, that, to me, is the concern with Tampa. Up front, they're not doing very well.
Yeah. Yeah, all right, so as I mentioned, you're going to Cincinnati. Trevor Lawrence is struggling to start. Zach Wilson struggling to start. Justin Fields, I don't know why they didn't play Nick Foles. I mean, Justin Fields is and Matt Nagy's got to be dead man coaching right now because he did nothing to help that kid out. But Fields, I was not high on that pick from the beginning, and he showed me nothing in that game. All of these young quarterbacks, all of these rookie quarterbacks seem to be struggling, but you get the Jags and Cincinnati. Cincinnati goes after this at Green Bay, Detroit, Baltimore, Jets, Browns. It feels like they get to 3-1 here. They get Green Bay at their place. It feels like this team is going to hang around. If Joe Burrow is healthy and it's Jamar Chase is all that he seemed to be the first 3 weeks, it kind of feels like they're a team that's going to be in the mix all season long. What's your take? Pretender or contender?
Still a pretender, but open-ended. They've totally changed the way they played in a year. Last year they threw the ball 2 out of every 3 plays. This year, so far, they've actually run the ball in their first 3 games more than they've thrown it. I mean, they just beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh by 14. Burrow threw 18 passes. And I don't know how many times that's happened for Cincinnati. So they're playing a little differently. They're protecting him. To go back to the young quarterbacks, I think we could go back over the last 5 years. The young quarterbacks that had above average to good offensive lines are doing well. And the quarterbacks that have not had good offensive lines have really struggled. Look at Sam Darnold with Carolina versus with the Jets.
Yeah.
A little bit of coaching and a solid offensive line can go a long way. Baker Mayfield always has had an offensive line. Lamar Jackson has always had an offensive line. Darnold did not. Which ones did well, which ones struggled? If the 3 rookies that you mentioned, Tom, they're playing behind bad offensive lines.
Right.
I mean, Chicago's offensive line, that's up there for one of the worst offensive lines I've seen in the last 20 years in the league. I mean, Justin Fields doesn't have a chance, and then Nagy doesn't get him out of the pocket.
Exactly.
I mean, you got to get him out of the pocket. He's got no chance, period.
He wasn't a very willing runner. That was what was surprising to me. I was nervous as a Browns fan. I was nervous that, this guy's going to have those chunk plays like Lamar Jackson. He does not. He's not. Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson are 2 completely different guys than everybody else. He's more of a lumbering type guy. I see him more like a Cam Newton type guy than like those guys who have that quick twitch.
But, Tom, Chicago only has 1 wide receiver that can get open.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're a pretty easy team to defend. You double Allen Robinson. I mean, maybe occasionally you have to pay attention to David Montgomery. I mean, it's a bad offensive team. I think Fields has no chance.
Don't you get them out? That's why I say, don't you roll them out? You make them put pressure on the defense. You get them on the corner. You run more. They called 2 quarterback runs, 2 pre-canned quarterback runs. They just they just didn't use his skill set, and that's why I say Nagy, I think, is in some trouble there. But I think it's going to be an interesting game on Thursday night. First blush, you look at it and you say, I don't know, this seems like a stinker. But to see Trevor Lawrence, to see what Urban Meyer's trying to do, to see how good this Cincinnati team really is, I think there's definitely some interest there. Alabama Ole Miss is going to be a barn burner. I mean, that's just going to be a really good one. So I think you got some good action.
Well, Tom, I'm just happy that we have a college football season. Because you know what I said a month ago. Can we get some games?
Yeah.
Can we get some interest in this sport again? A few upsets would be nice. We've had a couple, and we've had some near upsets. I mean, the season doesn't feel like a foregone conclusion right now.
Right.
And that's just terrific. Because last 2 years have pretty much felt done from October.
I mean, look, you got Clemson with 2 losses and Ohio State with a loss in the first 4 weeks of the season. I mean, that changes the whole complexion of this thing. And when you look at Oregon's schedule, the way they avoid Arizona State and USC until the conference championship game, the only game on their schedule, the only team I think can even threaten them is the game at UCLA. They're running the table. If Texas and Oklahoma, Texas has that loss already. If Texas can beat Oklahoma, they'd have to beat them twice. I think Oklahoma could get into this thing if they were to lose to Texas next week and then come back and win in the conference championship game. I think Oklahoma can get in, but this has really opened up quite a bit.
Tom, there may not be a team more overrated than Oklahoma. They've won 3 home games by 7, 6, and 3.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, that Tulane win was at home. It was supposed to be at Tulane. They beat Tulane by 6 at home. Beat Nebraska by 7 at home. They barely got by West Virginia. I mean, I think Oklahoma right now is one of the most overrated teams in the country.
I just don't see anybody on their schedule outside of Texas that can trip them up.
And that could be it. And maybe they go 12-0, 13-0 because of it. But I got to tell you, right now, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, neutral field. Right now, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, neutral field. I don't know if I'd take the Sooners. In fact, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't.
I'm not real high on Cincinnati. We'll see. The Cincinnati-Notre Dame game is very intriguing. We'll see. Notre Dame may be back in this conversation. And they got a tough schedule and no conference championship game. But they look very impressive in that win against Wisconsin, but we don't know how good Wisconsin is. You're right. We have a season. The Michigan-Wisconsin game means something. Penn State-Ohio State coming up is going to really mean – we've got many games that are very, very interesting and intriguing. And God forbid Arkansas knocks off Georgia. Then what the heck's going to happen? I mean, it's just.
And listen, Alabama may go 12-0. They'll be favored to go 12-0. But we think, hey, Ole Miss is going to give them a game. We think, wow, maybe the Arkansas game might be somewhat interesting. I mean, that's better than we've had lately, Tom.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, appreciate you as always. Great stuff. David Moulton has been our guest alongside Mark Miller, who didn't say anything but sat there. I hope you guys have a great meeting. You guys need to be on the air somewhere, somehow, some way. Tell Mark I said hello, and we'll talk next week.
Mark did give hand signals and did nod or shake his head sideways, depending on what I said, though.
And he's good at that. I mean,
he was like a third base coach here.
Yes, he was good. Giving you signals. All right, man. Appreciate you. All right, we'll get a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up hour number 1, set you up for hour number 2 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Two Maids and a Mop. That's all you need to know to clean house. Two Maids and a Mop is an award-winning company, bonded and insured. Hire them for yourself, or they have gift cards if you want to make someone else's day. Find out more online at twomaidshuntsville.com. A maid service worth talking about. Two Maids and a Mop take care of everything. They supply all the cleaning equipment needed. Call 256-883-6243. The only finger you'll need to lift is the one to call them.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is your big game headquarters all fall long. And with our new fall features, every day is game day at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Try our pregame starters, including our homemade onion strings, always fresh hot lips, and our all-new Buffalo Dippin' Chicken appetizer. Our main events include incredible chicken, fish, and shrimp selections, always featuring local Alabama Gulf seafood. And don't forget our Sunday Blitz, 11 to 6. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
In today's real estate market, you need the right professionals to help make sure your home purchase is smooth and hassle-free. That's where Jacob Title comes in. Stan McDonald and the staff at Jacob Title cater to the realtor and clients who are looking for a top-flight closing experience. Jacob Title uses the latest and best technologies to ensure a safe and secure exchange of funds, and they pride themselves on great communication well before and during the real estate closing process. Jacob Title in Huntsville and Madison, and online at jacobtitle.com.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 977 ESPN The Zone.
Grumpy says if fat chick can't wear a hockey jersey, that means 70% of them are out. The other issue there is that you're basically looking at groupies. Then you're basically looking at, for the most part, unless she's with a dude and they're a couple and they are both like huge fans of a team. Like Dan and Ginger, for example. Dan and Ginger, Wolverine Dan and Wolverine Ginger. They're huge fans. They would go to a game. Ginger's a fan on her own. So they would go to a game, and they both could rock a Red Wings jersey at a Red Wings game. But they're both fit enough to do that. You know what I mean? 90% of the time, a lot of these girls that you see at a hockey game that are wearing jerseys, and they're groupies. And they're vicariously dating guys on the team. Not really. They're just like love guys that are on the team. And they don't have a boyfriend, and they're a hockey fan, and they're just digging, the team. They're like stalkers or groupies. I'm just saying.
Baseball, minor league baseball has the same thing. I've seen it.
Baseball groupies?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, they call them baseball Annies. You see the movie Bull Durham?
Of course.
It's called a baseball
I think we've
Annie.
talked about this movie I don't know how many times in this show.
It's a baseball Annie. It's a baseball groupie. But they usually, baseball groupies, they'll pick a dude out and, maybe get with him. That's a little different. All right, coming up next, John Forcade joins us from Louisiana. And we're talking about everything with him. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Sitting here with Ann Adams of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Rise Real Estate. Is it a good time to sell your home, Ann? Yes, it is. We have people relocating from all over the country.
Why should we choose Rise Real Estate?
Well, we've been selling real estate in North Alabama for 36 years and have sold more real estate than any other real estate company, period.
Do you help your customers through the entire process?
Yes, our agents are with you during the whole process from start to finish, from beginning to end.
In your relocation services, you have a whole team.
Yes, we have a dedicated relocation department helping customers move seamlessly into the area.
Ann Adams has been writing contracts for the last 36 years. She has the experience to help you list and sell your home, downsize your home, or help pick the perfect spot north of Alabama for you to build a future.
Call Ann Adams at 256-337-2625 or on the web at www.bhhsriserealestate.com.
Maybe the air doesn't blow like it should, or it's needing new tires, or you're just ready for something newer. It's time to move up, time to trade up. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and it's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your current car or truck is worth more than you know. In fact, we'll buy your vehicle even if you don't trade. We have nearly 100 Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned models to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage gently used vehicles with great warranties. They've passed a 172-point inspection by certified technicians, come with a 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. It's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your vehicle is worth more right now at Woody Anderson Ford. Corner of Jordan Lane and Sparkman Drive. Hope to see you soon.
In 2 years, you can have a career that makes sense for you. Skill up and earn a living working with your hands, or work on the front line of computer information systems and cybersecurity. Get a degree that lets your healing heart take care of people. Help design and manufacture the most advanced cars, machinery, or even aerospace components. In just 2 years, great careers are within your reach at Drake State Community and Technical College. Visit drakestate.edu to apply.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, the Buccaneers are hosting veteran cornerback Richard Sherman for a visit and workout this week. He's been in discussions with Tampa for several weeks. Sherman believes he needs a week or two from the time he signs with his next team until he's ready to play, according to ESPN's Ed Werder. NBA, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reporting Pacers guard Karis LeVert has a stress fracture in his back. There's optimism it might be a minor setback, and he could return sometime around the start of the season. Dodgers and Padres face off in the baseball postseason impact game on ESPN TV tonight at 10 Eastern. Walker Buehler, Yu Darvish on the hill. LA's 2 games back of NL West leading San Francisco. Dodgers have a 13-game lead for the top NL wildcard spot. Connecticut forward Jonquel Jones named WNBA MVP. Connecticut hosts Chicago Game 1 WNBA semis tonight, 8 Eastern, ESPN 2.
Football season is here.
It is in the air. It has distance. It's good!
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Tom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Tom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Welcome back, hour number 2 of the Tom Abraham Show. This segment brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. And Woody Anderson Ford, you don't have to have a Ford to get service from Woody Anderson Ford, but they do a tremendous job on your vehicle, and it really doesn't matter. They're going to get it in there if it needs to go to the to the collision shop, or if it's just engine type stuff. They can get it all done there. They're certified mechanics, do a tremendous job on all brands, and when you get in there and you see the service lanes, you're going to just see how much they take care of their property. And if they're going to take care of their shop like that, they're going to take care of your car and do a great job with it. Also, check out all the certified pre-owned vehicles as well. I currently am driving a 2019 Woody Anderson Ford F-150 pickup, and I absolutely love it. All right, if you're going to talk about LSU playing a big game against Auburn, you want to talk to John Forcade, who covers them in Louisiana. If you want to talk about Ole Miss playing a big game at Alabama, you want to talk to John Forcade, who starred at quarterback for Ole Miss back in the day. And if you want to even slip in a question about the schizophrenic New Orleans Saints, who have wins over the Packers and the Patriots, but somehow got drubbed in the second week of the season, you want to talk to John Forcade. So you know what? Why don't we talk to John Forcade? He joins us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. John, welcome back. How are you?
Hey, Fred, Tom. How are you, man?
I'm fantastic. A lot going on down there right now, I would imagine, right? A lot of conversation, both Saints and LSU, especially with Auburn and possibly T.J. Finley coming back this week. It's going to be big times.
I'll tell you what, there is a lot. A lot of things going on for this city. Even all the issues we've had with the hurricane. Now the New Orleans Saints are coming back home. 2-player game in the Dome. You have the big LSU Tigers playing against Auburn Tigers, or whatever you want to call them, Plainsman Tigers, who knows, Eagles. It'd be kind of interesting to see who does quarterback for Auburn. In my eyes, I'm thinking it's going to start out with Bo Nix, but he's going to be on a short leash. That's just me. I don't have an inside scoop on it, but that's what it looks like. And then my boys with Alabama and Ole Miss coming up too, so it's going to be a heck of a weekend of football.
How did the Saints beat the living snot out of the Packers, go to New England and beat them, and get their head handed to them by the Carolina Panthers? I mean, the Panthers don't suck, but the Saints team is so schizophrenic, I don't know what to think of them and Jameis Winston.
Well, first game of the season, they had the hurricane, got displaced in Texas, sort of what happened when Katrina hit when they reopened the Superdome. There was no way the Saints were going to lose that game against Atlanta at home. And I didn't see any way that the Saints were going to lose to Green Bay. I wasn't sold on Green Bay only because of the fact that first week of the season, because of the fact that all the Aaron Rodgers crap that went down, a few other things. The Saints were a good football team in the first game of the season. We knew that. Now, going into the Carolina game, I think they were a little bit displaced because they had to go back to Dallas. They still don't have their bearings straight. Look, they got caught on a bad weekend in Carolina against a pretty decent team, but look, they bounced back last week to go into New England. I thought it might be a struggle into New England because of Belichick and his defense. Nobody knows what Winston's capable of doing right now. He only threw 15 passes the first game. He threw 22 in the loss to Carolina. So they're not using Winston as they would use Drew Brees. But look, the Saints are 2-1 and in good position right now. That's all that matters to them.
Yeah, and they get the New York Giants in the building. Giants are an absolute grease fire right now, so they have a great chance there. They got a great chance against Washington. They got a chance to string some wins together here to get a tough go when they go to Seattle and then play Tampa Bay a little bit later on. But at least they got an excellent opportunity to get it from 2-1 to 4-1, so we'll see where it goes from there. By the way, the picture of John Forcade that is up on the video feed of the show is John with a golf glove on, with his wrists crossed, his hand on his driver. I think he's got a ball in his hand and a tee. That's the John Forcade that I know. All right. I mean, I like when we use a picture of the quarterback of New Orleans Saints or back in the day with Ole Miss. But that's my Forcade right there, my golf partner right there. And I hear you're playing again.
Yeah, I'm back playing again. COVID hit me pretty hard. I stopped a little bit. I dropped 40 pounds.
Wow.
I don't hit the ball as far anymore. Yep, but 40. I don't hit the ball as far anymore. I got, carpal tunnel stuff. I got other injuries, but hey, Tom, I'm still trying to get my 4 to 5 days in a week of playing golf. I got to get my conditioning back.
But you know what? That's all right if you don't hit it as far. It's nothing better than going out with some young guys who are bombing it past you, and you just kind of matriculate it down there. You knock a little 5-iron in there where they're hitting 7-irons and missing a green, and you hit a 5-iron and you're stiff, and you make a putt, and you walk off. The guy hit it 50 yards past you out in the tee, and you walk off the green, and you got a birdie. You know what I mean? So that's cool.
You know the old saying, you can drive the show, but you putt for the dough.
You got that right. All right, to the LSU Tigers, and you say you think that maybe they go with Bo Nix and then come back with Finley if Nix is struggling. See, I kind of almost think, and you've been in this position, you've come off the bench and you've been the starter. I almost think that it would be better for Bo Nix maybe to come off the bench if Finley were to struggle. If they were to go in there with Finley, he's going back to Louisiana. This is the guy that Brian Harsin recruited. He didn't recruit Bo Nix. He recruited Finley from LSU. You start Finley, and then if Finley is struggling, maybe Bo Nix takes it with a different set of eyes coming off the bench with less pressure. What about that scenario?
I mean, that's a good scenario there. The only thing that scenario that I have to sit back and think about is, will Bo Nix go into this week or closer to the game day and find out he doesn't start? Will he be on the sideline moping and pouting and this and that? I'm not sure that he's been a starter since he got there. And then he gets benched from a starting standpoint. It's different if he's been in a bunch of games before where he's been pulled. I think this is the first time he's been yanked out of a game in this situation. So I don't see it that way, but it could happen. And Finley, look, I never was sold on Finley. He came in at the end of the game. He had a call. Look, what would happen? Let me ask you, Tom, what would have happened if the ball hit the ground and officials would have called it the right way? Auburn loses the game. Then what do you say? Oh, Finley's my starter who did it done?
Yeah, I don't know. See, that was a 1st and 10 play. They were going to go in and win. They were going to win. They were going to go in and score, don't you think? I mean, that was first down. So, yeah,
right.
If that play comes back, now it's 2nd and 10. There was plenty of time. I think they're going in. The 4th down play that he made was pretty good. And you're right. He didn't exactly light the world. He didn't light the world on fire, there's no doubt. But he showed a willingness to take off and run. You just wonder, Ed Orgeron talked lovingly about him. He said, I don't know, we went to school. I can't understand what Orgeron says. I can barely understand you. But when Forcade starts, I don't even know what the hell he's saying. But he said something about where he went to high school and he's part of the family and all that kind of stuff. So, the motivation there is as I think is a very interesting thing.
Well, look, Ed gets really intense, and he's into his players. We all know that. But he's got to say the right thing when players come and go. But look, the overall picture is this. I don't see Auburn coming into LSU and beating LSU. I think LSU has played a little bit better football in the last couple of weeks. Auburn has struggled at Penn State offensive-wise. They struggled a little bit against Georgia State last week. So I'm looking at it like this. Auburn's going to come in here. It's an SEC game. I just think LSU knows that if it is Finley, they'll be more pumped up the fact that we're going against one of our whole players who left us, who didn't want to compete here. He thought grass was green on the other side. I think Ed Orgeron will have them ready this weekend, and I think LSU takes care of business this weekend against Auburn.
So if they do that, they get to 4-1. They needed that win at Mississippi State. I thought that was a critical game for Ed Orgeron because if he dropped that game, then he's dead man coaching. I think at that point you start to say, well, now you're getting beat, by Mike Leach and a Mississippi State team that's really not that great. They get that win. They get this win here. At Kentucky is a contended game. Now all of a sudden you got Florida. At Ole Miss is very tough. At Alabama is very tough. Arkansas looks very good. It still feels like this could be like a 7-5 type team. Does Orgeron survive that?
No, he goes 7-5 with the new president there, the new AD there. He brought in some new coordinators, and he goes 7-5. I don't see him lasting. And look, I got him either 7-5 and 8-4 this year, and that's not going to be very happy with the people around Baton Rouge and in the area. But let's see how they play those games. I don't see them beating Alabama. I don't see them beating A&M. I don't see them beating Ole Miss. I don't see them beating Florida. I mean, that's 4 there. They already got a loss. I mean, 4 or 5 losses could cost Ed his job because I just think with the new AD that they had there, it wasn't. He didn't hire Ed Orgeron, and that's the big key. A lot of times people say that the athletic director wants their guy.
If I think Arkansas could be tougher than A&M if A&M doesn't have their quarterback Haynes King back. I love Arkansas. And I love the way they're playing. I love the way they play defense. Very physical team. They got a brutal schedule. I think they hang a little bit with Georgia. I don't think they're going to go in there and get. I cannot believe that the betting line on that game, 19.5 points they're getting. I think they'll hang around with Georgia. I think when you play that kind of defense, you can hang, and it'll be very, very interesting to see what they can do there. Now to Ole Miss, this one, Matt Corral, Bryce Young, top 2 guys right now in the Heisman race. You gotta love Corral. I mean, I just the guttiness of the way that the grittiness, the way he plays, got a little Brett Favre in him. I think. What do you think about Matt Corral and is Ole Miss playing good enough defense now to maybe be able to hang with Alabama, stop them a few times, and get a win?
Tell you what, it was funny when I first met Matt Corral. You believe this? He was a senior in high school, came to Ole Miss before the season began, and he was in a bar drinking wine. He was drunk as can be, and he was embarrassing himself. So I'm thinking, oh my God, this kid is going to be trouble. And you saw his freshman season. He was a kid that was cocky, arrogant, did a lot of things that nobody was liking, and then all of a sudden he changed last season after the 6-pick game against Arkansas, which I think that he did because he broke my record for most picks in one game. I appreciate him doing that.
Yeah.
But ever since that Arkansas game, Tom, he's been a different kid. Somebody somehow, some way got to him. And yes, the kid has played phenomenal. He's played within his beams of what they want him to do. It's going to be a showcase. It's going to be a heck of a football game. And look, don't think Ole Miss can't go in there and beat him. They've done it before. I like their chances this week.
You can't be too hard on a guy that is cocky and wild when he's young. I mean, come on, at Ole Miss. I
agree.
I know a guy back in the 80s was kind of like that. You know what I mean? I mean, come on.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to give him a hard time. You're probably
learn from him.
Yeah, you're probably teaching him how to be cocky and arrogant. But
somebody's got to.
They're playing better defense. I think that's the thing. Is this real that they're playing better defense? Now, this offense of Alabama's is still growing. I don't look at these cupcake games. What they did to Southern Miss. That's fine, but they still don't run the ball with the authority that they've run the ball with in the past 5 years. And it still seems like they're growing. In the receivers, it just seems like they're not a finished product yet. They may get there. They win this game. They may continue to run the table against a very tough schedule themselves. But it doesn't feel like they're just not quite there yet.
I do see that. I see something different in the Alabama team this year compared to what you've seen with those guys over the years. And I don't see them like really being dominant other than the name of the quarterback. Nobody can name who their running backs are, who the receivers are. So it's a big change in that. So I think that this is going to be a game where, look, the Ole Miss defense is what I'm surprised at this year. I think they played extremely well from a defensive standpoint. But when you go out there knowing that your offense is going to put 40-something points a game on the board, that keeps you in the football game, and that helps the defense.
Yeah, it's just hard to totally grade them. They played Louisville, who, is a little bit better than we might have thought from week one, and then Austin Peay, that said nothing. Tulane gave Oklahoma fits, and Ole Miss just dispatched of them like they were nothing. And Tulane doesn't suck. That was the one that kind of opened my eye a little bit, the way how easily they handled Tulane.
Well, we're going to start talking about people's schedule. Alabama played, who's that? Mercer? Is that like?
Yeah, but they also played Florida. They played Florida and they played Miami. So they got two and two.
Miami? Come on, Miami.
Well, at the time, we didn't know Miami was a cupcake. I mean, good God, the whole ACC is a cupcake right now.
Oh, I agree. So I think just throw out who your opponents were, who you played from yesterday on. I think it's going to be now. It's from now on that with both Alabama and Ole Miss. I think everybody, even the SEC, as well as I, everybody's schedule from now on in the SEC is not going to be easy.
Vanderbilt, Georgia went to a running clock in the fourth quarter with Georgia up like 62 to nothing. They went to a running. This is a conference SEC conference game, and the two coaches got together before the fourth quarter during the TV timeout and agreed to a running clock in the fourth quarter. You know, Tulane used to be in the SEC. Swanee used to be in the SEC. I mean, it's not unprecedented. I mean, is it time to get Vanderbilt the hell out of the SEC? I mean, they're not even trying.
Well, they need to have the baseball team and maybe the basketball stay in there. Their football team needs to go down. Need to drop down. To some Sun Belt or Conference USA. They do not need to be in it.
Yeah, trade them to the ACC for Clemson or something like that. You know, do
there you go. That's something you can do.
All right. Well, as always, it's a pleasure. It's going to be a big weekend this weekend, and there's more big games to come. I think it is on. And we were just talking with our previous guest about the fact that this season, we went into the season with it felt like it was an automatic Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, the usual suspects. And now it seems more wide open. So these games are all really important, and I think we got ourselves, some real drama coming up here over the next 6-8 weeks.
I think that's good for college football because people were getting really tired with the top four guys pretty much every year. But overall, it's going to be a great ending of October and November. We'll find out. But look, the most important thing, is this your last child getting married? I mean, you got any more that we don't know about?
I got two more. I got two getting married next summer, right? So Tommy is getting married in May sometime, and Grace my youngest daughter's getting married in like August or September. She's working on it right now. And then there's two left. The baby, who is a senior in college right now, and then my one that's a musician, and I don't think he's going to get married, to be honest with you. I think he's just doing the musician thing, and that might be it. But
make him some money and save his money.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I still got a few more to marry off, my man. That's the way that works.
Oh, I see that. Well, look, man, thanks for having me on today, Tom. I appreciate it. It's always good talking to you, my friend.
All right, John. Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, bye.
John Forcade. He and I became very good friends when he was the head football coach of the Florida Firecats of the AF2. And John didn't like to travel on the bus. John is kind of a control freak, which is kind of how I am. And if you ever, I don't know if you knew, did you know that, Chad? I don't know if you got that sense.
First time I think I've ever experienced that.
I don't know if you know that. I'm kind of a control freak. But when you travel in the AF2, we used to travel on the Sports Star bus, and the broadcaster would travel with the team, and we called it the Rolling Tube of Terror. It was the bus that we used to use from down there was actually Tanya Tucker's bus, tour bus at one particular point in time. It was renovated into a sleeper bus, and these sleeper buses sleep about 19 people. So you'd have the entire team, and you'd have a forward section and a back section, but there's no windows. There's like one window in the forward section, and then there's the window out the front. And so the sleeping compartments in the back had no windows. And it was literally the rolling tube of terror. You would just feel like you were hurtling through space, and you couldn't see anything and didn't know anything. It was a little disconcerting. And John never liked to ride with the team anyway because he always had someplace to go. Wherever we were playing, he would then have some girl he had to hook up with or someplace to go in that town or something like that. He's quite the player. He was married when he was very young. I don't know if you know the story. He was married when he was very, very young, and he was playing with the Saints in Europe in a preseason game. One of those back then they didn't play regular season games in London, but the Saints were playing a preseason game in London. And his wife had an aneurysm back in the States.
Ow.
He left the team. They flew him home. She ultimately died, and he's never remarried since then. He's quite the player, but he has never remarried since then. Now, but we spent hours and hours, because when the Florida Firecats were out of Fort Myers, Florida, right? And the closest team there was a team in Tallahassee, and then the next closest was Macon, Georgia. So you would literally have to drive 5 hours just to get out of the state of Florida. We were so far down there. There were no other teams in Florida other than Tallahassee one year. Even Tallahassee's 5.5 hours from Fort Myers. So it would be every game we had was 6, 8, 7 hour drives. And he would say, jump in the truck with me, and we would take his truck, and we would drive, just him and I, through the night. And so, when you're with your buddy and you're driving through the night, you learn all the stories, you tell all the stories, and so we got really, really close. And then it blossomed even further when I got to Nashville, and then we did some stuff together with the alumni, with the NFL alumni, and so on, and it went from there. But he's a character. His life story is something. He played in every league known to man. This guy played, of course, he played in the NFL. He played in the World League. He played in the USFL. He played in at least 4 different arena leagues. He played in the very first Arena Football League championship game.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
he had a football life on him.
I mean,
I've known of John Fourcade. I know football. I played football. You know,
it's a different football life. It is a nomad's football life, and the way he got his gig in the NFL, he was a replacement player during the strike. He was a scrub. What they call him, scabs. He was a scab. He
original Shane Falco.
Yes, he crossed the Union picket line and played as a scab for 3 games, and then he was so good in those games that when the regular guys came back, they kept him, and they made him the starting quarterback. Now that first year, it was tough because everybody, because he was a scab, but then the next year he was the starter again. Ultimately, he was replaced by Bobby Hebert. So, he held the job until then. But he had, at Ole Miss, he broke all of Archie Manning's records at Ole Miss. And then Eli Manning came along and broke all of John's records.
I witnessed all those.
Yeah.
As an Alabama fan, I witnessed a lot of those.
He broke all of John's records except for most touchdowns in a season and most touchdowns in a game. And that's what he just referred to. Most interceptions in a season and most interceptions in a game. And that's what he was referring to. That Matt Corral broke his record, John's record for most interceptions in a game.
Thank God. That'd probably be the same way, though. If I threw so many interceptions and had a record for it, I'd be cheering for the next guy.
Yeah. But
cheering for success and failure.
He's a fascinating guy that can tell stories like you wouldn't believe of arena leagues, and from the highest level to the most entry level arena teams, arena leagues that started, and he was involved at ownership levels on arena teams, and I mean he just was involved in so much in terms of football. It has really, I like what you say. It's been a football life for him, but it's not a football life like you see when they're talking about James Harrison or Nick Saban or something like that. It's a football. He was a player coach. Yeah. I mean, he probably played until he was 40. He was a player coach in Tupelo, Mississippi, for an indoor team in the IFL or one of those indoor leagues. He was the player coach, and he would always get fired. He was very abrasive with the owners. Yeah. He would always get himself jammed. Ultimately, he would get himself jammed up and get fired. He couldn't stay anywhere. It was, I would be like, John, just calm down, man. Just calm down. But anyway, he made a fortune with Hooters. He was one of the original owners.
That's what's up.
Of a Hooters franchise, and he had the Hooters in New Orleans. And he ended up buying a golf course in New Orleans, and he made his money off of Hooters and this golf course piece of property that he ended up selling. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, stat of the day. Got an incredible stat for you. There are 2 huge baseball series that are going to be starting tonight. Slip that in there. I got to bring back Coach Said What. Remember we did that last? Coach Said What? What did he say? So we'll get into that a little bit. And our top 10. I got all kinds of lists. We got a lot of stuff to cover in the last 30 minutes of the show. We'll do it all next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
UFC Fight Night this Saturday in Vegas will feature former light heavyweight title challenger Thiago Santos battling prospect Johnny Walker. The former challenger, the favorite, -175, Walker +145. 5. Looking ahead to some of the biggest matchups of college football Week 5, Arkansas, after jumping 8 spots up to number 8 after their win over Texas A&M, will face number 2 Georgia in Athens. The Bulldogs a heavy favorite, 18.5, the over-under 49. Number 7 Cincinnati, a 2.5-point favorite at 9th-ranked Notre Dame, 50.5 total, and 12th-ranked Ole Miss, a 14.5-point dog at number 1 Alabama, the over-under 79.5.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Take your taste buds back in time with a trip to the all-new Bubby's Diner, offering a variety of mouth-watering food from delicious starters to 50-style diner food and meat-and-three meals, featuring owner and Huntsville native Chris Bubby Belcher's family's homemade recipes. Open Monday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 8412 Whitesburg Drive in the former Gibson's Barbecue. Drive-in, drive-through, carry-out, or curbside pickup with delivery coming soon through Grub South. Bubby's Diner, home of the Donut Burger.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner of University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Madison Academy football. And a quick shout out to my son, Avery Seaton, number 19. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including our all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and the sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com to view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see you in the Kia. Go Mustangs!
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2
Now back to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Two Beards and a Guy Named Beard, brought to you by TOC Sports. TOC Sports, all your orthopedic needs are taken care of at TOC Sports. And you do know when you talk to your doctor, your regular doctor, and he says, I think you really need to see an orthopedic about that you can ask him to send you to TOC Sports. You can simply say, I would like to see the docs at TOC Sports, and they will make that happen. Phone lines are open now the rest of the show. If you want to jump in, you can do it. 256-576-4977. Text window is open as well, 732-982-7469. I remind you once again that tonight I will be filling in for Moulton down at the Furniture Factory with West Neighbors from 5 to 7. There's a rumor that the Junkyard Baby's coming with me. It's a rumor. Could happen. Gris, she might even be at our meeting, at our staff meeting coming up later on today.
If she's not at the meeting, then, I mean, the whole meeting's wrecked.
Well,
to be honest
she's
with
going
you.
to class up the meeting a little bit.
If she's not at the meeting, the whole meeting will be wrecked.
Yeah, I think she's going to be there because...
Might go faster, too.
We need to and we need to do some things about that other thing, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I think today's going to be a very interesting meeting. We're going to have news for our listeners, in a couple of weeks, but we need to do some stuff. We do today. We're going to do a little bit of that.
Which means
stuff.
I do.
Today,
we do means I do.
Well, not just you, but let's put it this way: I'm bringing my sticky pad with me. Just so you know, I am bringing my sticky pad with me. So, in any event, but anyway, come on down tonight to the furniture. Hey, you're not working tonight. Why don't you come down and say hello? You should come down and hang with us for a few minutes.
Yeah, I should. I will.
Come down there and hang out.
I will.
But guys ask me all the time, they're like, when are you going to do a remote again? And, I did that one
I did a remote tonight.
I did that one at Bubby's, and that was really good. We had a good time there. And then tonight, I'll be filling in for Steve down there with Wes, and we'll have a good time with that as well. I don't know what the show's going to be about. We'll see, but we'll take it from there. As to our conversation earlier regarding the jerseys, this kind of created a lot of commentary regarding jerseys. We spoke, in case you missed the first hour, we were talking, somehow it morphed into whether or not dudes should wear jerseys. David Moulton said, the rule is after age 25, you can't buy a jersey anymore. My rule has always been you can't wear a jersey if your gut is bigger than your shoulders. You got to be able to, if you're going to wear a jersey, you got to be able to rock a jersey. Now, Kramer said, I stopped buying jerseys as an adult. Now, he's a Buffalo Bills fan.
He's got a Josh Allen jersey.
He says, I stopped buying jerseys as an adult, though, because my team stunk and didn't keep players more than a year or two. But number 17 is definite franchise potential. He is a franchise right now, but each year is a new year, and things change quickly in the NFL. I was generously gifted a Josh Allen number 17 jersey by an aunt of mine, and I will definitely be rocking it on game days and Monday Night Football in Nashville. He's going to see the Bills play in Nashville, and he's going to wear it to the game. Now, that's another thing. Can you wear the jersey to the game? If you have a jersey, can you wear the jersey to the game, or do you only wear the jersey? Is wearing the jersey on your couch with your buddy? Now, you can't wear it. Look, if you're wearing the jersey and watching the game alone, you need to see somebody. Okay? You need help.
I've done that so many times.
No. If you're by yourself, if you're wearing the jersey, watching the game all alone,
playing on my computer in Jersey,
you got issues. You got to see somebody. Now, if you got a bunch of
8
people,
o'clock at night, what am I going to do?
Wear a
get
t-shirt.
up the next morning.
Wear a hoodie. Wear something. Don't wear a jersey while you watch a game alone. That's pathetic.
I'm in my own house. Why does that matter?
It's pathetic.
I'm not out in the world with my gut out wearing a jersey.
I know that, but if you got people coming over,
I can't wear it at home. I can't wear it out in public.
If you got people,
I'll just buy it and put it up on the wall.
More than 2 people is a party, right? So if you get, like with me, my 4 sons come over, and it's a party, all right? So that's me, and that's 5 of us, and we'll wear jerseys and hats and things like that. And I'll wear an Alabama hat on a Saturday and wear a Browns hat on a Sunday, and a Yankees hat Monday through Friday. You know what I mean? It's just the way I'm always repping my teams. Yeah. I'm not wearing fishing hats, you know what I mean? So But that's why I like to roll. But to wear a jersey by yourself would be a little weird. Now, he says that the Bills gave my dad an authentic jersey for his 40th anniversary with the team, with the number 40 on it.
Nice.
And our last name. He gave it to me for my 40th birthday, and I think I'm going to frame that because the thing is thick and heavy. Now, having said that, look, the last jersey I bought is a Jim Brown jersey that was a bootleg Jim Brown jersey. And I've worn that jersey for various things, but I don't know how long ago I bought it, but I'm looking at a picture that was in the newspaper of me wearing it when we had Stephen for Bama was a great listener of ours. He's dead now. He died young. He was a heavy drinker. He died, I don't think he was 40, 42 years old when he died. But his house burned down back in the day. It must have been 2006-ish. And his house burned down. So we had a Super Bowl party, and we raised money for Stephen for Bama. And we raised a bunch of money to help them, get him a new TV so he could watch games and stuff. He watches Alabama because the TV burned, everything burned. And at that Super Bowl party, I wore my Jim Brown jersey. So I know it's at least 15 years old, this Jim Brown jersey.
Yeah.
But it was bootleg, and I bought it, and it's brown, and it fits me. So that's the jersey I wear. Now, the other jerseys that I have are generally somebody gave me a Bo Jackson jersey from when he was with the Raiders.
Yeah.
So I have a Bo Jackson Raiders 34 jersey. And that was when the Browns were away because the Raiders were, my second favorite team, and the Browns were gone and for those 3 years, and I was really pulling for the Raiders. And I've always liked the Raiders. I like the Raiders, the Packers, and the Titans.
Vintage jerseys are cool.
Yeah,
there's a place in the mall that I like to go to, and they've got old jerseys all the time, and I try to find something that's just out of the ordinary.
Yeah, now, and I don't know
expensive, but
And I don't know if I got it when Bo was still playing. I mean, it wasn't really. I mean, it's been years, so it might have been back when he was playing. I mean, I've had this thing since the late '90s. Yeah. Okay, so it might have been back from when he was playing. I have a Bernie Kosar jersey that I bought, but I've never worn. I have an Ernest Biner jersey. Number 44 White Browns Ernest Biner jersey that Ernest Biner gave me and signed. And I have a Jim Kelly game-worn jersey from the Buffalo Bills that Jim signed to me as well. I did a couple of fundraisers with Jim back in the day. This was, now we're talking about all the way back in, good gosh, late 80s, early 90s. No, mid-90s. Maybe mid-90s. Okay, maybe mid-90s. And Jim gave me a game-worn jersey, and he signed it on the number on the back. Now, what I would like to do, Grizz, is I love this idea of shadow boxing jerseys and hanging them. Because I'm not going to wear them. Especially the ones that are mementos, like the Jim Kelly one or the Ernest Biner one or the Kosar one or whatever. But the reality is, I mean, look around the studio. I mean, take a look at this. Where in God's name am I putting a jersey? I mean, look at this place. I mean, if you
no
look
room
around
whatsoever.
There's not nothing that isn't covered with something. So to me, I think that would be kind of a cool thing to do. To display jerseys, I would like that. I could get Wolverine Dan to build me shadow boxes, and he could I could display the jerseys. But that would be the deal. Now, having said all of that, I prefer to wear like a hoodie or something like that of the team. To me,
I love hoodies.
Yeah, a hoodie or a T-shirt if it's
Falcons hoodies.
Yeah,
Braves.
I think that's cool. I think that's the one that would be that would be right. Kramer says I should burn the Jim Kelly jersey in a YouTube video because he was hitting on JYB. Yeah, it was all right. I mean, he was being fresh.
They should
he was a young guy at the time. It was pre-Jill.
He was lucky to be around such a wonderful woman.
It was pre Jill Kelly, and he was just being. We were at a house party, and he just he kept putting his arm around her and something. We took a picture together, and in the picture, I don't even know where the picture is. I wish I could find the picture, but in the picture, it looks like Jim and the JYB are together, and I'm standing next to them. Because he has his arm around, he's standing between me and her, and he has his arm around her.
Yeah.
Right? But he doesn't have an arm around me. He didn't do like the double arm deal. He just put his arm around her. So it's like I'm taking a picture with Jim Kelly and my wife. I mean, come on. Stat of the day. Check this out. Phone lines are open if you want to get in. 256-576-4977. When Clemson lost to NC State, it broke the Tigers' 36-game winning streak against unranked teams, which is a hell of a streak. I mean, think about that. They had played 36 straight games without losing to an unranked opponent. When Alabama beat Southern Miss, it was the 100th straight game against an unranked team. Every game since the Iron Bowl in 2007, Nick Saban's first year, when unranked Auburn beat the Tide 17-10 at Jordan-Hare Stadium. I mean, that's just insane. 100 games against unranked. They never, when they get upset by like a top 10 team. They don't get up. They don't lose a game like that. 100 games. I mean, someday, long after Nick Saban is retired, probably after I'm dead and gone and in the ground, people will look back on this now 12-year stretch, and who knows if it's going to be 15 years. Who knows how long it's going to last.
Tom Brady's won his 10th Super Bowl.
Yeah, right.
11th.
People will look back on this stretch, and the superlatives will be something that will never be matched. This is the most dominant run in the history of college football. I mean, you had Notre Dame in the 40s, I think won 3 or 4 national championships. You had Oklahoma in the 50s, won 56 straight games at one point in time. You had Alabama in the 60s, and then again in the late 70s. Nebraska in the mid-90s. Miami for a half a decade. Remember, Miami for like 4 or 5 years was really, really strong. Nothing comes close to this run over the last 10 or 11 years. And we're not going to see anything like it again in our lifetimes. Ever. And the odd thing is, in FCS, Division I AA, North Dakota State has won like 8 national championships in 9 years. And that's with a 24-team playoff. So playoff expansion doesn't necessarily mean more diversity in the champions. That's the dirty little secret. The more you open up the playoffs, the more the same good teams get in, and then they get on that little run to win 2 or 3 games, however many it takes, and they win a national championship. If you want to stop Alabama or Clemson right now from winning national championships, well, we stopped Clemson this year. If you want to stop Alabama from winning national championships, go back to a system like the BCS, where only 2 teams go. How many times have we seen the number 3 or number 4 team in the playoff win the championship? When you go to 8 or 12 teams, 8 of the teams, if it's 12, and 6 of the teams, if it's 8, are going to be the same teams year in and year out, like North Dakota State. 24-team playoff, and they've won 8 national championships in 9 years. I mean, think about it. Alabama's got a couple of national championships they wouldn't even have been in back in the day. Right? They won the one from the 4 spot. They wouldn't even have been in that back in the day. So, by including more teams in the championship tournament, it actually has a reverse effect. You get less diversity in your champions, in my opinion. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, lists in a top 10. Got it all next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing, helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
Brooks & Collier has always been about making the most of your outdoors. Our lush greenhouse and new furniture ideas will inspire you, but we're also about value. Our brands are so handsome, they'll make themselves comfortable inside or out, and so well made, they'll weather the weather for many years to come. Our staff can consult you on the right choices, and Lucy for sure can show us the sofa that's the most comfortable. Make the most of your outdoors. Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. If you need a car, McCurry Motors is ready to put you in a quality vehicle, and in-house financing is available. If you have a job, McCurry Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit McCurrySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. Call 256-713-0575.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Roll Tide, War Eagle, and yeah, you, the Vols fan. We got it all covered on the Tom Abraham Show.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
People stay just a little bit longer. We want to play just a little bit longer.
Well, I will get to play a little bit longer tonight. Another couple hours. Down there at the Furniture Factory, sitting in for Steve with Wes Neighbors. Furniture Factory at Meridian. Come on down. They got great food, man. We'll be in the back. I assume we're still in the back. I assume that's where they do it, in the back where the back bar is. And probably have the garage doors open, and just a beautiful night tonight, so it'll be a good time to come on out there and hang out a little bit with us tonight. All right, final segment of the show. I want to take a look at some of these lists, and especially our new top 10 for the SEC.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's the Tuesday Top 10.
So, Grizz, last week we renamed the Swirly to Vandy, right? And the toilet is just a Vandy. I think that's it. They're in a totally different category than everybody else.
Dumpster fire.
We just need to throw them out. I mean, we just got to throw them out of the league somehow, some way.
Baby's diaper.
Vandy, in no particular order, Vandy, Carolina State, and the Vols remain in that swirly there. The Vols, you had a shot against Florida, you didn't do it, and you stay in the swirly right now. Mizzou at number 10, Kentucky at number 9, Auburn at number 8. They slip a little bit. I jumped LSU over them. LSU at number 7. Also slipping a little bit, Texas A&M, because I bumped Arkansas ahead of them. So Texas A&M to 6. Arkansas to 5. I know I talk about Arkansas a lot, and you'd think that I think that Arkansas is like the third best team in the league, but I still think that Florida and Ole Miss are better than Arkansas.
I thought they said they were number 1.
No. But I do talk about them a lot. Arkansas at 5. Florida, which is interesting because I think Arkansas in the polls is like number 8. You know what I mean? They're that high up there. Ole Miss is lower. Am I lying? Where's Arkansas compared to Ole Miss in the polls? Yeah, Ole Miss. No, Arkansas is ahead of them. Arkansas is number 10. Ole Miss is at number 12. I disagree with that.
Yeah.
Right now, I still think that Ole Miss is ahead of Arkansas.
That was crazy to think Ole Miss was better than Auburn.
When?
At the beginning of the year.
Oh, at the beginning.
Yeah.
So right now,
still better.
You think Auburn's better than Ole Miss?
No,
right
Ole
now?
Miss is better than Auburn.
Yeah, Auburn. Yeah. Ole Miss is better than Auburn. Right
Still
now.
going with that.
Yeah, I would still go with that too. I have Ole Miss. I have Florida 4. I have Ole Miss 3, Georgia 2, and Alabama 1. I still think I love Arkansas, but I still think that Ole Miss is better than. I think Ole Miss is better than Florida right now.
I like Auburn better than Texas A&M right now, and I had them way too high. I drank the Kool-Aid. I don't believe in them.
You think Auburn's better than Texas A&M?
Yeah.
I don't think Auburn's better than Texas A&M.
I
don't think Auburn's better than LSU. Do you think Auburn's better than LSU?
It's going to be close.
Do you think LSU's better than A&M then?
Yeah.
So you would have A&M all the way down to like 7 in the league?
I mean, how good is Arkansas? I feel like they're going to be high on themselves, and
no, they're good. I mean,
and it might crash and burn.
They didn't just beat. Listen, they didn't just beat A&M.
They just beat. They beat
Texas.
Texas
too.
Texas Tech, who is absolutely awful.
They beat them to death, though. They beat Texas to death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, those are good wins for Arkansas. Those are good wins for Arkansas. I got other lists, Grizz.
Let's hear 'em. You got time.
Top of your head, quick. Top of your head. Let's test you.
Yeah.
Want to test you with some stuff?
That brain.
NFL.
Yeah.
Top of your head. There are 5 3-0 teams in the NFL. Run them down.
God. Who's on
Cardinals?
Oh, Rams.
Panthers. Rams.
Rams.
Who else?
You said Cardinals.
Cardinals.
There's
2 in the
more.
AFC West.
Oh, Chargers and
no.
Raiders. Oh, I mean, sorry, Broncos and Raiders.
Broncos
Sorry.
and Raiders.
Yeah.
There you go.
Not
Those are
Chargers.
Arizona.
They got 1 loss.
Carolina, Denver, Las Vegas, and the Rams are your undefeated teams in the league. In 40 career starts, Lamar Jackson now has 90 touchdowns, 70 passing and 20 rushing. There are only 3 players
for a running back.
There are only 3 players in the history of the NFL, 3 quarterbacks in the history of the NFL that have had 90 touchdowns in their first 40 career starts. 90 total touchdowns in their first 40 starts. All right, one of them is active right now. Who would that be?
Tom Brady?
Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, yeah. He had, 32, and then I think 50 the following year?
Patrick Mahomes has 107 touchdowns in his first 40 starts. The other 2 are Hall of Famers, okay? One's from the 80s and one's from the 2000s. The other 2 quarterbacks that have had 90 touchdowns minimum in their first 40 games in the NFL. Hall of Famers, one from the 80s, one from the 2000s.
Montana?
Nope. Ooh. Dan Marino from the 80s, and then who from the 2000s? Used to play arena football.
Kurt Warner.
You
just had to give me that.
Let me give you that. Josh Allen.
You could have said bagger at the grocery store.
Josh Allen passed for 358 yards and 4 touchdowns and had a rushing touchdown against Washington. He's the 4th player in NFL history to record multiple games with at least 300 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. Now, this is a hilarious list because 2 of the 3 you would never think. Aaron Rodgers has done it. Drew Brees has done it. And the other guy who has had multiple games of at least 300 yards passing, 4 touchdown passes, and a rushing touchdown, Peyton Manning.
The slowest bootleg I've ever seen in my entire life to score a touchdown. It
had to be sneaks.
Oh, my goodness.
It had to be sneaks.
No, he had a bootleg in like 2015 that it made me look fast.
But that was the game where he had 4 touchdown passes. You know what I mean? So
maybe.
I
think he had a lot of touchdowns that game. I can't remember, but I remember him faking it in, and it was the longest, ugliest bootleg I've ever seen in my life.
Crazy stuff. All right. Come out and see us tonight at the Furniture Factory, 5 to 7 with West Neighbors. Coming up next is Chuck Oliver and Paul Feinbaum, all here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is West Neighbors sitting here with Ann Adams. And I understand you have some exciting news.
Yeah.